There comes a moment in every life when you must decide. Will you let life design you, or will you design life? The truth is, your future is not a structure waiting to be discovered. It's a blueprint waiting to be drawn. Every choice, every thought, every action becomes a brick in the house you will one day live in. So, today, I invite you to pick up the tools of awareness, discipline, and purpose, and become the architect of your future. Before you can build anything meaningful in life, you must first understand the ground you're standing on. Awareness is the beginning of all transformation. It's like clearing the land before construction. You can't build a strong structure on unstable soil. Many people rush into their dreams without ever pausing to truly see themselves, to recognize the patterns, habits, and thoughts that have quietly shaped their reality. They keep building on shaky foundations, wondering why everything eventually collapses. But the moment you stop, breathe, and observe yourself with honesty, you begin to see where you truly are, not where you pretend to be, not where others expect you to be, but where you are now. That's where real power begins. When you live without awareness, you live as a reaction, not as a creator. You wake up every morning already pulled by distractions, by emotions, by the weight of other people's expectations. You move through the day doing what's familiar, not realizing that each familiar choice is another brick reinforcing the same old walls around you. But when awareness awakens, something shifts. You begin to notice how your thoughts influence your emotions, how your emotions drive your behavior, and how your behavior shapes your reality. You see that life is not happening to you. It's happening through you. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak, every action you repeat becomes part of your design. To be the architect of your future, you must first become the observer of your present. Awareness is not about judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself. It's about watching your mind the way a craftsman studies his tools, seeing which ones are sharp, which are dull, and which are no longer useful. When you observe your own thoughts without running from them, you start to realize how often your mind repeats the same stories. I'm not ready. I'm not enough. I can't change. These are not truths. They're patterns. And patterns lose their power the moment you see them clearly. Awareness breaks the cycle by bringing light to the darkness you didn't even know was there. Think about this. You can't change what you can't see. If there's a crack in a wall, but you ignore it, the whole structure weakens. The same is true for your inner world. You can't strengthen what you refuse to look at. But when you turn inward, with patience and curiosity, you begin to see not only your weaknesses, but also your strengths. You recognize what energizes you, what drains you, what aligns with your values, and what distracts you from them. Suddenly, decisions become clearer. You no longer move blindly. You move with intention. You begin to design instead of drift. Awareness is not a one-time realization, it's a daily practice. Every day, you must return to yourself and ask, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I choosing right now? These questions keep you connected to the present moment, where creation actually happens. The past is already built. The future is still a concept. The only space where you can truly design your life is now. And the more you practice awareness, the more you notice how powerful the present moment really is. You realize that small changes, how you speak, how you breathe, how you respond, are not small at all. They are the blueprints of transformation. Some people think awareness means control. It doesn't. It means understanding the truth without resistance. It means seeing the storm inside you without being swept away by it. It means recognizing that pain, doubt, and fear are not enemies. They are signals guiding you toward balance. When you are aware, even your struggles become teachers. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead ask, "What is this teaching me?" That shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, the chaos of life becomes a classroom, and every challenge becomes a lesson in mastery. Awareness also requires humility. You must be willing to admit that you don't always see the full picture. You must be open to learning, to being wrong, to growing. Because the truth is, the person you are today is both the architect and the result of your previous designs. If you want to change your future, you must first understand how you built your present. Awareness shows you the map of your own mind, and with that map, you can finally choose a new direction. But remember, awareness alone is not enough. Just as an architect doesn't stop at studying the land, you cannot stop at understanding yourself. Awareness must become action. It must inspire you to make different choices, to break patterns that no longer serve your purpose, and to create habits that align with your vision. When awareness deepens, clarity follows. And with clarity, the impossible begins to look possible. In this state, life starts to feel lighter. You stop fighting yourself. You stop forcing things that don't fit. You begin to act not from impulse, but from understanding. You become grounded, steady, and intentional. And from that place, you can begin to build with confidence, because your foundation is no longer made of confusion or fear, but of awareness and truth. This is the first and most vital step in becoming the architect of your future: to wake up, to see, to understand. Because once you are aware of yourself, no one can build your life for you. You become the designer, the builder, and the master of your own destiny. Discipline is what turns vision into form. It's the invisible bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Many people mistake discipline for restriction, as if it means losing freedom. But in truth, discipline is freedom. Freedom from laziness, freedom from chaos, freedom from regret. When you lack discipline, you become a slave to your emotions and impulses. When you cultivate it, you reclaim command over your mind and actions. You stop being a wanderer and start becoming a builder, one deliberate action at a time. Every dream begins as a sketch in your imagination, but a sketch without structure collapses the moment it meets reality. Discipline is the structure that gives your dream form and strength. It is not glamorous, it's built in silence. In the early mornings when no one watches, in the long nights when motivation fades but commitment remains. It's in the small, repeated acts: waking up when it's easier to sleep, training when it's easier to rest, focusing when it's easier to drift. Every repetition, every choice to stay steady when the mind screams for comfort becomes another line drawn in the blueprint of your future. Most people wait for motivation to arrive before taking action. They wait for the right time, the perfect mood, or the ideal circumstances. But discipline doesn't wait. It creates the conditions. Motivation is like the wind. It comes and goes, unpredictable and weak against resistance. Discipline, on the other hand, is the anchor. It holds you firm even when storms come. It doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what needs to be done. And when you learn to act beyond feeling, you step into mastery. Discipline trains the mind to obey clarity, not comfort. There will be days when the path feels heavy, when progress seems invisible. On those days, discipline is your reminder that consistency is more powerful than speed. Think about the river that carves through rock. It doesn't do so through force, but through persistence. Each drop, seemingly insignificant, shapes something mighty over time. In the same way, your disciplined actions, small and steady, create a strength no obstacle can withstand. But discipline is not about control for the sake of control. It's not about punishing yourself into submission. True discipline comes from respect for your potential, your vision, and your time. It's the quiet understanding that what you desire is worth more than what you want in the moment. It's choosing alignment over indulgence. When you start to see discipline not as a burden, but as a bridge, your entire relationship with it changes. You no longer resist it, you embrace it, because it becomes the tool that builds your freedom. There's a moment in every journey where progress slows, results blur, and doubt begins to whisper. That's when most people stop. They mistake silence for failure. But the disciplined mind knows that growth often hides in stillness. Just because you don't see change doesn't mean it's not happening. The seed in the soil doesn't shout about its progress. It simply continues to grow quietly and steadily. So, too must you trust your process. Discipline means keeping faith in your effort, even when results haven't yet revealed themselves. The truth is, discipline is not a one-time decision. It's a daily renewal of choice. Each day you begin again. Each day you draw another line in your design. Some days will feel smooth, others will feel like you're rebuilding from scratch. But that's the essence of construction. An architect doesn't stop when a piece of the plan falters. He adjusts, reinforces, and continues. You must do the same. Discipline teaches you resilience. It trains you to adapt without surrendering your direction. When your mind is disciplined, distractions lose their grip. You no longer chase every noise, every temptation, every opinion. You begin to move with purpose. You realize that your energy is sacred and what you give it to will grow. So you learn to focus only on what contributes to your design and let go of everything else. This clarity is not born from luck. It's carved by discipline. It's a sharpened edge that cuts through confusion and keeps you aligned with your purpose. Sometimes people say, it's easy for those who are already strong, but strength doesn't come first. Discipline does. Strength is the result of doing what must be done long after the excitement is gone. Every master you admire was once a beginner who simply refused to quit. Every expert started with trembling hands and uncertain steps, but built steadiness through repetition. The disciplined life is not a straight path. It's a spiral looping through failure and learning until mastery emerges. And yes, discipline will test you. It will challenge your patience, your confidence, and your endurance. It will ask you to keep going when no one applauds, to trust your effort when results seem invisible. But those are the moments when your character is being forged. Those are the moments when your foundation hardens. Without discipline, dreams remain sketches. With discipline, they become structures that can stand the storms of life. There's a saying, the architect measures twice and cuts once. The same applies to your actions. Discipline gives you precision. It makes you thoughtful, deliberate, intentional. It allows you to build not just quickly, but correctly. Because in the end, what matters is not how fast you move, but how firmly your creation stands. So understand this. Discipline is not your enemy, it is your ally. It may feel uncomfortable in the beginning, but it leads you to freedom, mastery, and peace. Every moment you choose discipline, you are not losing something. You are gaining control over the design of your destiny. When you learn to act not from impulse, but from intention, when you choose persistence over ease, and when you stay loyal to the path, even in silence, that is when your future begins to take shape. That is when the blueprint becomes a structure. That is when dreams stop being imaginary and start becoming real. Purpose is what gives direction to all that you build. Without it, even the strongest foundation and the most disciplined effort eventually lose meaning. You can spend years constructing something impressive, only to realize it doesn't lead where your heart truly wanted to go. Purpose is not about movement. It's about alignment. It's the compass that ensures every action, every decision, every sacrifice leads you closer to the life that actually fulfills you. Because when you know why you are building, the how and the what become clear. Many people wake up each day and work hard, but few know exactly what they're working for. They chase goals handed down by others, money, recognition, comfort, believing those things will fill the quiet emptiness inside. But the truth is, without a deeper sense of purpose, success feels hollow. You may reach the top of the ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. That's why purpose must come before progress. It's not something you find in books or from others. It's something you uncover within yourself, often in silence, often in struggle. Purpose begins with asking the right questions. What truly matters to me? What do I want my days to stand for? And beyond that, who am I becoming through this path I'm walking? These questions demand honesty. They strip away illusions and confront you with the truth of what you really value. Sometimes the answers are uncomfortable because they require you to admit that the life you're living may not align with your heart. But it's better to face that truth now than to spend years building something that leaves you empty later. When you find clarity of purpose, your energy changes. Suddenly, discipline doesn't feel like sacrifice. It feels like devotion. You stop needing external validation because your direction comes from within. You no longer chase after every opportunity or compare your journey to others because you understand that your path is unique. You begin to move not with haste, but with certainty. Every action feels connected to something larger than yourself. Purpose gives you roots, and those roots keep you steady when life begins to test your resolve. It's easy to live a life that looks successful. It's harder to live one that feels meaningful. Purpose bridges that gap. It gives emotion to your discipline, direction to your awareness, and soul to your effort. Without it, you can build endlessly, but never arrive anywhere that feels like home. With it, even the smallest step becomes significant because it moves you in alignment with your truth. You stop chasing perfection and start seeking connection with your work, with your values, and with the impact you wish to leave behind. But purpose is not always clear from the beginning. Sometimes it's revealed gradually, through trial and error, through mistakes and redirection. Often, The very challenges that frustrate you most are the ones guiding you toward what you're truly meant to do. The pain you've endured, the struggles you've overcome, they're not random. They are teachers. They show you what matters deeply to you, what you cannot stand to see broken in the world, what you feel called to repair. That is where purpose lives, in the intersection between your pain and your potential. When you act with purpose, even failure transforms. You no longer see it as defeat, but as refinement. You understand that every setback is sculpting you into the person capable of living out your mission. Purpose gives meaning to the waiting, patience to the process, and resilience to the struggle. Without it, every obstacle feels like a reason to quit. With it, every obstacle feels like part of your training. People often think purpose must be grand or extraordinary, something that changes the world. But true purpose doesn't always roar, it whispers. It can be found in how you treat others, how you show up each day, how you use your time and talents. It's not about scale, it's about sincerity. The impact of a life lived with purpose isn't measured in numbers. It's measured in presence, in the quiet strength that radiates from someone who knows why they're here. When you lose sight of purpose, you lose connection to yourself. You start chasing distractions, chasing noise, chasing what shines but doesn't last. Purpose is what brings you back to center. It reminds you that success without fulfillment is just a decorated cage. It teaches you that it's better to move slowly in the right direction than quickly in the wrong one. And it grounds you in gratitude, because when you live with purpose, every experience, good or bad, becomes meaningful. To live with purpose means to live with awareness of time. You realize how limited it is, and that realization makes each moment more precious. You stop wasting energy on things that don't serve your growth. You stop saying yes to everything that asks for your attention. Instead, you begin saying yes only to what aligns with your design. That's when your life starts to feel lighter, cleaner, clearer. You begin to experience a quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to prove anything, because it already knows where it's going. There will be days when your purpose feels far away, when doubts creep in and the vision blurs. On those days, return to your why. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Remind yourself of what made you begin. The compass may waver, but it never disappears. Realign yourself again and again until your steps match your direction. The world will try to pull you into its rhythm, but the person of purpose moves to their own tempo. And when you finally reach the place your purpose has been guiding you toward, you'll realize something profound. It was never just about the destination. It was about who you became along the way. Because purpose doesn't just give life meaning, it shapes the person you are becoming within it. That is the power of purpose. It doesn't just tell you where to go, it tells you why it's worth going there. Failure is not the end of your path, it's the beginning of understanding. Every architect knows that before the final masterpiece stands tall, countless drafts are torn apart, corrected, and rebuilt. The same is true in life. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the blueprint that shows you where to reinforce, where to adjust, and where to grow stronger. Yet most people fear it, resist it, and label it as defeat. But failure is not here to destroy you. It's here to teach you. It's the instructor that life sends when progress must become personal. When you build something meaningful, mistakes are inevitable. There is no creation without correction. Every strong foundation is tested by time, weather, and weight, and so is your journey. The difference between those who reach greatness and those who don't is not luck. It's their relationship with failure. Most run from it, but the wise study it. They understand that behind every failure is a message. The moment you stop reacting to failure and start learning from it, you begin to grow beyond limits you never knew you had. Think about it. When you fail, life is simply showing you where your design was incomplete. It's revealing the parts that need strengthening. It's asking, are you willing to refine what you've built? Failure is not rejection, it's redirection. It moves you closer to accuracy, closer to mastery. Every time something doesn't work, it's not a reason to give up. It's an invitation to adapt. The lessons you resist are the ones that keep repeating. But the moment you face them, the pattern breaks. Failure strips away illusion. It shows you who you truly are when things don't go your way. In success, it's easy to appear confident and calm. But in failure, your real discipline, patience, and resilience are revealed. It tests your foundation. It asks whether your purpose is strong enough to survive disappointment. And that test, though painful, is necessary, because without it, your success would be fragile, built on untested ground. Failure gives strength to success. It teaches you to stand firm when life shakes your plans. The greatest creators, thinkers, and masters all share one trait. They failed more times than others even tried. They built, they broke, they rebuilt. They understood that mastery isn't born from perfection. It's born from repetition, correction, and persistence. Each failure taught them what didn't work and refined what did. You see, failure is not about falling down. It's about what you do when you're down. Do you curse the ground, or do you examine it and learn how to walk better next time? The choice defines your growth. When failure arrives, it brings with it discomfort, embarrassment, and sometimes pain. But pain is a language, and if you learn to listen, it reveals truth. It tells you what needs attention, what needs patience, and what needs change. Most people avoid this conversation. They escape through blame, distraction, or denial. But those who pause and listen find wisdom hidden in the ashes. Every mistake carries insight for the one who looks closely enough. So instead of asking, why did I fail? Ask, what is this teaching me? That single shift in question transforms defeat into development. And yet, even knowing this, it's not easy. Failure can break confidence. It can make you question your worth. But that's exactly why it's so valuable. It humbles you without destroying you if you let it. It reminds you that you are a work in progress, that there is still more to learn, still more to build within yourself. Failure demands honesty. It shows you not just what went wrong, but how much more you are capable of becoming if you refuse to stop. When you meet failure with openness instead of pride, it reshapes you into someone wiser, steadier, and stronger. Sometimes failure will visit you repeatedly, testing the same lesson from different angles. Each time, you will have two choices: resist or refine. Resistance keeps you stuck, repeating the same mistakes in slightly different forms. Refinement, however, turns failure into a tool. You learn to anticipate challenges, to plan more clearly, to act more mindfully. You become the kind of person who doesn't fear the unknown because you've already learned how to rebuild after things fall apart. That resilience becomes your real success, the kind that no one can take away. Failure also protects you. It keeps you grounded when success comes too quickly. It prevents arrogance from blinding you to your weaknesses. Every fall brings humility, and humility sharpens awareness. You begin to understand that growth isn't about never falling. It's about learning to land with grace, stand up with patience, and move forward with wisdom. The most dangerous person is not the one who never fails, but the one who fails, learns, and keeps going. You cannot build anything extraordinary if you are afraid to fail. Fear limits imagination, restricts risk, and suffocates growth. But when you accept failure as a natural part of the process, you begin to move with freedom. You experiment, explore, and innovate. You stop trying to be perfect and start trying to be better. Every mistake becomes a stepping stone, and every setback becomes a source of strength. This mindset turns obstacles into opportunities and losses into lessons. Life is not asking you to be flawless. It's asking you to be fearless in your pursuit of learning. Each failure you face is shaping you into someone more capable of handling the success that's coming. If success arrived too early, you wouldn't know how to sustain it. If everything worked perfectly, you'd never build the endurance to hold on to your vision when things get difficult. Failure is the forge that strengthens your spirit for the weight of the life you are creating. So when you fall, and you will, don't see it as a collapse. See it as construction. The structure of your destiny is being refined, tested, and strengthened. The cracks you see today are not signs of weakness. They are the marks of becoming. Every time you rise wiser, clearer, and more capable. Failure is not your enemy, it's your instructor. It's the quiet, powerful teacher shaping you into the architect capable of building something that will last. So, look at your life as an unfinished masterpiece. You hold the pen, the compass, and the hammer. The world may offer you materials, but only you decide the design. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfection. Begin today, sketch your dreams, strengthen your foundation, and build with purpose. Because the greatest truth is this: you are not the product of your past. You are the architect of your future.